How we doing today, guys? Alright, so I picked this project up a while ago, years even, and I'm finally getting around to it. I tore it all apart. It's a Yamaha golf cart. It was electric. I'm going to be converting it to gas. I actually have a gas style rear end, so it'll have forward and reverse. It has A-arms. It's stock, 100% stock. Like I said, I acquired it. I'm not even sure where. I know in my many travels I acquire a lot. But like I said, it's nothing fancy, far from it. For now, when I get done with it, hopefully it'll look a lot nicer. Pulled the fenders off. My wife cleaned them up for me. She did pretty good. And they've been sitting out in the weather, so they need to be cleaned again. But this is what they look like. Algae and stuff all over them. And she got them shining, pretty white. Seat cleaned up good. May paint it, not sure yet. I know the frame definitely needs some attention. Needs to be painted. And we'll go from there. I got the shocks hanging up over here that I painted probably 4 months ago and been hanging right here in this tree. They should be, good and cured by now, I would hope. But I'm going to try to keep it cheap as possible. Probably put a little Predator engine on it, maybe a 212, 301, something like that. And we'll go from there. Well, we got the frame all painted up on the bottom anyhow. Didn't spend much time on these little, I guess they was the battery holders at some point. Probably gonna cut them out anyways. Most of my time was spent in this area, the main frame down there, as well as the front where your A-arms are gonna bolt up. Because once you get all these plastics on, there's covers that cover all this and all these side plates and the seat and the front fenders and everything. You won't see none of this stuff anyhow. All this stuff will be pretty much covered up. What won't be, I'll spray paint it later. So I focused on the areas I thought that would be the most, I reckon, viewable, if that's a word. But that's pretty much it. I got to flip it over, stand it up straight, and kind of go around the bars on this front part and then on the back part. And I ain't really worried about the top part of the frame up here because you won't see that at all. I'll get the floor pans done and we'll see what's next. Alright, so everything's painted, I believe, as good as it needs to be. I painted all this. I didn't paint with these because I'm going to cut them off right here. Both sides because I don't need that. And then I think I'm going to grind these down flat and keep this piece. That way I can butt up from here, have these to lay on all the way across, and maybe put a sheet of diamond plate or, I'm not sure yet. Something that's not too heavy, but definitely metal. Maybe some weather stripping so it doesn't rattle a whole lot. I'm not sure, because I believe the rear end mounts with the sprocket on this side, coming up this way, so the motor will be right here somewhere. But not really sure what to do as far as that part goes. I decided to lift it. I'm going to set this down. This sheet of diamond plate right here, I'm going to do 4 of those, and that'll lift the front up 11 inches. And then as far as where these shackles hang, right here for the rear end holder, I've got these pieces right here, which will actually sit right in here and hang down. And those are 10 inches. So overall, it should give me, 10 inches of lift plus the tires. So it'll probably be sitting about where it's at right now. I would say close to that. Give or take. Probably a little up in the front, but I'm thinking that's about close. 10 inches doesn't seem like a lot, but when you add tires, it's probably gonna put it up a good ways. Sorry, I'm dealing with sinus problems. But that's where we're at right now. The build's gonna go a lot faster now. So they gotta tear the A-arms apart and find the other A-arm out there, wherever it's at. Paint all that up, get everything good, and then just throw it together real fast. I still gotta cut the other 3 pieces of diamond plate steel for the front and get the rear end. It's over there. I got to get it over here, get it cleaned up, painted, and ready to get put in. But once I get all that prepped, probably in the next day or so, it should go together fast. Hopefully, I'm thinking a week to get it built right. As far as the frame part goes, get everything hooked up. I have a motor over there that I can mock in here, just a Predator 212, just to get where it's going to sit at. Get everything set in line, bolted up and ready to go. Then we'll start on putting the plastics back on and tires and everything else and get into where we can move it. Alright, so real quick, we got the template drawn out. This is for the front lift. This is my original that's already ready. I just got to cut these 3 out, drill the 4 holes, 2 here, 2 here, and we'll be ready to get these painted, let them set up probably for a day or so, and we'll be ready to start bolting them on, get that front lift done. Well, the first one's cut, and it's pretty close. What I can do is when I get them done is lay them on top of each other. I already got the line for this one, which isn't exactly a straight line, but it's close enough. But what I can do is when I get done is I can lay them all on top of each other in my vise over there, take the grinder and grind the sides to match each other. And that'll be perfect. You'll never be able to tell. I mean, it's just a lift. You'll be up underneath of it. Plus there's a bumper and everything goes in front of these, so you'll never be able to tell. As long as the holes are good and lined up on both ends, everything else will be fine. Alright, so we got all brackets done. Now we need to clean these up, get them painted, and let them dry so we can get them installed. Alright guys, excuse the bugs. Got these A-arms. I found the other one, it was out there. Got the A-arms tore apart. I know I electric taped these. I don't have no painter's tape. That's cheap and easy way to do it. I got these all, I cleaned up the rough parts of the rust, so they're pretty smooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime these, get these painted. I did take the other 3 plates for the front lift. They're actually hanging right over there in the tree. Dangling in the tree right there, painted and drying. I'm gonna get these painted up, that way we can go ahead and get this front end installed. Get the lift put on, get these bolted on. I still got to build brackets for the shocks, but I want to get it all in place, set up on jack stands so that I can figure out where I need to put the brackets. And we'll get this front end bolted up and ready to go. Alright, so we got the first lift bracket. Now there'll be 4 of those, 2 to hold the back of the A-arm, 2 to hold the front. But man, look at how high that is. Now think, it was originally where that silver bolt is up top. That's where the A-arms were bolted. So now they're going to be way, way down there. That's way taller than I thought. So this thing's going to be probably 6 inches taller than this, most likely. Even taller than that once you put tires on. So I imagine the floorboard will be probably somewhere in this area. That's alright. It'll be tall. I have to put some steps on it because I'm short. But it'll work. Just figure I'd show you what it looks like. I'm still waiting on the A-arms to dry, and I got all the shocks and steering brackets up there. That's all drying. Still got to remove this part and get it cleaned up. I haven't decided what I'm painting the plastics yet, so I don't want to just paint that. I don't want to paint it just yet. I may paint the bottom black to blend in with everything, paint the pedals black, or I may see if they clean up, but I don't know, they look pretty rough. But yeah, it's coming together pretty quick. Alright guys, so we got the front lift on and the A-arms. It's tall. It looks good though. I mean, everything's squared up pretty nice. It looks like it's on a little bit of a slant, but that's because that's about 2 inches higher than that chair, so it's actually all on a slant. So it puts, I used the old paint cans that I had from painting it just to prop those up to get it mocked kind of into place. Step back where we can see it good. Looks pretty good though. I'm happy with it. Now what I got to do is figure out for these shocks, because originally they mounted here and would have went something like that. Well, now they got to go way down here. So what I'm thinking is maybe something, I don't know, right in that area, up in here. So what I'm going to do is come off of this frame, probably this frame right here, build me a bracket that comes out at an angle down to about here. Then it'll hang down like a check mark type of ordeal. I'll show you once I get it mocked up. And then it'll come back up and weld onto this. So there'll be a shock where the top of the shock goes here, the bottom goes down there. So it'll be about right where the bottom of that is, down to there. This is about where I want it. I know it is set a little pigeon-toed, I guess is what you call it. But that's good, because once I put the weight on it, it should square it up pretty close. And if it don't, yeah, we'll worry about that later. If it don't, I'll figure something out. I might drill a little bit bigger holes and make a shim for it, something like that. But we'll try to get it as close to perfect as possible. I may even put a tire on this side, do this first, mock it up with a tire on it so I can see how it sits, get the thing sitting a little bit leveler, and go from there. It shouldn't be too hard. I did have to cut these bolts. These bolts were really long, so all I did, get this thing to focus a little bit. Alright, so all I did was cut these off, ground them off, top and bottom. Same with here, top. But I left the bottom on this side long, because what I'm going to do is I'm thinking about making a plate for here to bolt on here, and then come up to this frame as a support. And then I'll make something to go in between right here as a support to brace this front. But I mean, it doesn't move at all. But just a little extra support. I don't want it to bend and flex. But I use pretty decent steel. Everything lines up great. I have no complaints with that. So we'll go from there once I get all that mocked up and done. And eventually I'll take these bottom bolts back out, because what I'm going to do is probably like a brush bumper that comes up somewhere out in here. I'm not real sure yet. But it'll come off of that bottom and up, you know, somewhere in this area. About level with this part. Maybe across the whole front, put some LED lights or something on it. Something, make it my own. But yeah, that's where we're at so far. Let me figure out what I'm going to do with these shock mounts. Get something mocked up. Go get some cardboard so I can build some little cutouts. And I got plenty of that steel that I did the lift with, so shouldn't have any problems there. I got plenty of steel laying around, so I'll build whatever I'm going to do and get it mocked up, and we'll go from there. Alright, so the front end's good. I got the shocks mounted. I got everything leveled up. Everything looks pretty good. Now, once I actually set it down on the weight and see how the shocks give, then I may have to adjust the front end a little bit. I didn't really leave much room for adjustment, but at the bottom of these shocks right here, worst case scenario, I have to build me a block that will pick this up a little to bring these down. But they look pretty level, maybe even down just a little like I want them. I had this piece of steel laying around. It is an L bracket, so there's nothing holding the back in as far as this part goes, which eventually, excuse me, I'll test it make sure it's gonna fit right, and then I have a couple small pieces of this, and I'll just put me a hole and I'll just weld it right here. And then I'll paint it all black and be done with it. But it was pretty simple to do. I got the lift all done. It's solid. It ain't, I mean, when you jiggle it, everything wiggles. So there's no play in it whatsoever. I'm gonna wait to do the steering a little bit later, because it's gonna take quite a bit of doing to get it right. I believe the steering arms will screw out enough to work, but I'm not sure. So we'll probably keep that till almost last, or until I figure out how to drop these down a little bit better. Still working on that. But the front end's 100% ready. It's good to go. Everything's bolted up except for back here. I have to still put that mounting bracket I was talking about and come up to the bottom of the frame somewhere for a support, and then I'll put a support right here. This is just setting in between the brackets. If you look right up in there, you'll see that there's a nut pushing back against this bracket, and that's what's holding it tight. So it's good. It won't come loose. Yeah, it turned out really nice. So next video will be the rear end and getting all the brakes ran for the rear end. Maybe even working on the shifter linkage. I'll have to see. I may order the proper shifter to get it right. So we'll see how that works depending on what I do. And we'll go from there. It's coming together good. I'm very happy with the front end. I think it looks real good. It sets real nice. Very sturdy. So can't complain there. Everything's looking good and coming together, and I can't wait to get it done.